Did you know there are hotels around the world that aren't just closed? They're almost erased from existence. We're talking about massive luxury properties left exactly as they were on the day people walked away. Meals still sitting on tables, suitcases still tucked inside closets, passports left behind in bedside drawers. It's as if time simply stopped. And here's the strange part. Most of these places didn't shut down because they ran out of money. They were abandoned after events that left more questions than answers. Today, we're exploring 7 forbidden hotels you can't book anymore because some people believe something or someone never really checked out. Let's begin in the mist-covered mountains of Bali. Hidden among the jungle stands a gigantic unfinished resort known as the Ghost Palace. It was supposed to become one of Indonesia's most luxurious destinations. Instead, it became a towering concrete giant frozen in time. Some say construction stopped when a powerful political family's influence suddenly collapsed. Others tell a different story. Workers reportedly began experiencing strange encounters throughout the property. There were reports of unexplained figures, unusual sounds, and lights appearing in hallways long after power had supposedly been disconnected. Whether those stories are true or not, the enormous structure still dominates the landscape today, and nearly everyone who explores it leaves with more questions than answers. Next, we travel to a place connected to one of history's most well-known industrial disasters. The Polissya Hotel in Pripyat once welcomed officials, scientists, and important visitors from across the region. Then, everything changed. When the emergency unfolded, people left with little warning. The hotel became a snapshot of a moment in history that never received a proper ending. Over the years, visitors have shared stories of hearing ringing telephones echo through empty hallways. Others claim distant voices seem to drift through abandoned rooms. The building has stood silent for decades, yet the stories surrounding it refuse to disappear. Now let's head to Japan. High on the slopes of Mount Maya sits another forgotten giant, the Maya Hotel. Often called the Queen of Ruins, this hotel has survived wars, storms, earthquakes, and decades of neglect. Local legends suggest the mountain has always carried an unusual reputation. For generations, people warned that certain areas should remain untouched. What's even stranger is that several attempts to revive the property seem to run into unexpected obstacles. Coincidence? Maybe. But today, the hotel remains abandoned, slowly becoming part of the mountain itself. Our next stop takes us to Croatia. The Haludovo Palace. At its peak, it was one of Europe's most extravagant resort destinations. Wealthy travelers arrived from all over the world. The atmosphere was glamorous, the celebrations seemed endless. Then, history intervened. Within a surprisingly short period of time, luxury gave way to silence. Today, shattered windows overlook vast, empty halls. Locals occasionally share stories about hearing distant conversations, or laughter drifting through rooms that haven't hosted guests in years. Whether it's imagination or something else, the stories continue. Back to Japan for one of the most visually stunning locations on our list, the Hachijo Royal Hotel. Inspired by grand European architecture, it was designed to be a tropical paradise, but nature had other plans. Vines now cover marble staircases. Trees grow through elegant courtyards. The surrounding wilderness is slowly reclaiming every inch of the property. Visitors often describe a strange sense of disorientation inside. The hallways seem endless. The rooms look nearly identical. Some explorers even claim the building feels larger on the inside than it appears from the outside. Maybe it's architecture. Maybe it's psychology. Whatever the reason, very few visitors leave completely comfortable. Perched high above the sea is another Croatian landmark, Hotel Belvedere. The view is breathtaking. The history is complicated. And despite its incredible location, the building remains empty. Rumors have surrounded the property for decades. Some believe important records remain hidden inside. Others think the hotel witnessed events that were never fully documented. No matter what the truth may be, it continues watching over the coastline like a monument frozen between past and present. Finally, we arrived in Detroit, the Lee Plaza, a masterpiece of Art Deco design, a symbol of ambition, elegance, and success. But as the decades passed, the building became something else entirely, a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. Nearby residents have shared stories of hearing faint music late at night. Some claim it sounds like an old jazz band playing somewhere deep within the structure. No one knows where the music comes from. Maybe it's imagination, maybe it's memory, or maybe some places never completely let go of their past. But mysterious hotels aren't the only places surrounded by unanswered questions, because there are locations where entire communities seem to fade into legend. Some people believe there are coordinates in the United States linked to disappearances so unusual that they almost sound impossible. We're not talking about ordinary missing person cases. We're talking about stories connected to isolated facilities, restricted zones, and locations that barely appear on maps. Every few years, a new place becomes the center of speculation. People report unusual lights, strange sounds, odd disturbances in the environment. And then the rumors begin. One of the most talked about stories involves something known as Project Echo. According to the legend, a small Midwestern town experienced a sudden rise in unexplained disappearances during the 1990s. Whistleblowers supposedly connected the events to experimental sound technology. Residents described hearing a low-frequency hum that seemed to come from nowhere. Some claimed it affected their perception of reality. Others reported seeing people appear distorted before seemingly vanishing from view. Then there are the so-called mirror experiments. Stories tell of individuals who disappeared for days before returning unexpectedly. The unsettling part wasn't where they'd been, it was how different they seemed afterward. Friends claimed their personalities had changed, habits no longer matched. Even memories appeared inconsistent. Some theories suggest a hidden facility beneath a nearby forest was conducting unusual research involving identity and consciousness. No evidence has ever confirmed those claims, yet the stories continue to spread. Deep in the Pacific Northwest lies another legend, a place locals call the Static Woods. Hikers report hearing radio-like interference, despite having no signal. Others describe flashes of light moving between the trees. Disappearances have fueled theories that something unusual exists beyond what we can see. According to local rumors, a classified project accidentally created something that was never meant to happen. Science fiction? Folklore? Nobody knows. But the legend refuses to fade away. Then there's the story of Hollow Town. In the 1980s, most residents accepted buyout offers and left. A handful chose to stay behind. According to local accounts, they were never seen again. Years later, investigators reportedly discovered strange equipment buried beneath the area. Monitoring stations, sensors, electrical systems that remained active long after the town itself disappeared from maps. Some believe it was connected to experimental research. Others think the explanation may be even stranger. We like to believe every mystery eventually gets solved, but maybe some mysteries survive because nobody wants the answer. Maybe the easiest secret to keep is the one that sounds too unbelievable to be true. And maybe that's exactly why stories like these continue to fascinate us. Not because they're proven, but because part of us wonders, what if they were? I actually tried booking a room at one of these hotels last week. I asked if late checkout was available. The voice on the other end simply replied, "Don't worry. Guests who stay here never need to worry about time again." The real lesson isn't about abandoned hotels or mysterious towns. It's about how temporary everything is. Every monument eventually fades. Every luxury eventually ages. Every landmark eventually becomes a memory. The buildings crumble, the lights go dark, and nature patiently takes everything back. What survives isn't the place, it's the story. And as long as people keep telling those stories, the places are never truly forgotten. Stay curious, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next one.